Yo, what's going on guys? Team Crit Hit here, coming at you with a 1.5 deck profile for one of the top 3 contenders for best deck this format, I believe, ShineGreymon. So let's jump straight into the deck profile. We'll start off with the babies. We run 2 copies of Patamon. Now, the babies are a bit weird in this deck. We run a variety of them. Usually you run the 4-1 with most decks, 4 of the best, 1 of any filler. But with this deck, it's used more like a toolbox, so you need a lot of different options for different situations. Some opponents might try to keep you to 5 health at all times, because the second you hit 3 health, a lot of your effects trigger, giving you a lot of extra advantage. So the Patamon is there just to punish them a bit if that is their strategy. Then we run the 2 Upamon. This is for the players. This will most likely be the Imperial Dramon Blue. They try to rush you down really fast because they don't care, because they've got jamming. This guy says when you swing, if you have 3 or less, you draw a card. This guy's if you've got 5 or more, you draw a card when you swing. And then we've just got our Neuromod. Now this is when this Digimon is suspended, all your security Digimon gain plus a K. Now the reason we don't run a fair copy of one of these over this is because this, added with the Tamer TK, which we do run and you'll see later on, just gives a lot of extra power to the security and can punish a lot of decks that don't expect it. So they are the babies. Moving on, we have the 2 copies of Glorious Burst here. Now Glorious Burst is a very good card. So it's a 9-cost card that says main, target one of your opponent's Digimon, minus 12,000 DP from that Digimon. So this gets rid of a lot of problem issues. A lot of Sarismon, sometimes you'll see that they actually keep the Sarismon and don't swing with it, and then they swing with the additional level 6s that they have. What this basically says is, you can't do that because I'll just pop it anyway. It's very good as well if your hand's kind of bricky but you need to slow your opponent down as well. And the benefit of this card is, for every Tamer you have out, it reduces the cost to play it by 1. So that is why we run 2 copies of this. Next up comes the Tamers, and we run 3 TK. This is the TK that, if you have less than 3 memory at the start of your turn, becomes 3 memory. If it's in security and it's revealed, plays itself, and on play you get to look at your health, choose 1 card from it and add it to your hand. If that card is a yellow card, then you get to recover 1. So the entire deck is yellow, so you're always going to add and recover, and it's just really helpful because a lot of games you might just stack your security with like the ShineGreymons that you need or a level 4 that you need. We've all had those games. This just basically says no matter what, you can get into it, and it also means your opponent can't memory starve you. But with this, we also run the 3 copies of Kari. Now what this is 3 cost, and if you have 3 or less health, then you gain a memory at the start of your turn, and it does stack with this. So this, if you have both of these on board, this will put it to 3, and then the Kari will actually put your health to 4. So it's a really good little combo, and this is why I was on about. Your opponent might try and starve you from getting to 3. It might keep you on 5 until they've got a big board. And this is one of the reasons why they might do that, because the advantage it generates is ridiculous. And then we just run 3 copies of TK. What this one is it's a 2 cost, and it just says all the security Digimon game plus 2k. Now the reason we run this is we don't actually have another yellow Tamer yet. You need yellow Tamers in play for your ShineGreymons to fully hit, which we'll look into more later. It's actually not a bad effect, plus 2k for everything in the security. It plays when you reveal it in the security, and also there'll be times when on the early game you'll do your play and you'll be left on 1 memory. This just means that you can start for your opponent out if they don't have a Tamer. So it's a really nice little way to get into it. So they're the Tamers that are actually running a 3-3-3. I know some people are running just 4 copies of each of these. I tried it, I didn't like it. I like the 2 being able to do that. It also means at times, if you run just these and you don't see a Rise Greymon, then you've got to hard play these, and hard playing 3 and 4 every turn is quite annoying to get the amount of teams needed for Shine to actually hit most Digimon, whereas playing 2 costs is quite easy. Okay, moving on to the next one, we're going to go on to the level 3s, and we run 4 Patamon, because this is the best Patamon. On play, reveal 4 cards from the top of your deck, add all yellow Tamers that are finds, and add them to your hand, put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. This is absolutely insane. The fact that theoretically this could just do that, and you add in all 4 of these to your hand. It doesn't. It's very rare that you'll come into that situation, but even if you had one's fine. There are plenty of cards in the game, like Ludomon, that search the top and add one to your hand. Well, Ludomon adds two, but half time it'll add one. This one just says it can add up to 4, and that's absolutely ridiculous. That's what the deck needed for consistency. As well as that, we run 3 copies of Salomon. This is a 4-drop, 0. So what this card does is, on deletion, if I have 3 or less health, then this card actually recovers 1. Now that's absolutely insane, because a lot of the times you want to be at 3 health, and you might just knock yourself down to 2, or someone might push it quite hard against you and you go down to 2. The Salomon Swings actually takes care of one of their security cards and gives you a benefit. How I tend to play this is, I will hard play the Patamon, evolve the lineup here for the Patamon, and then I will actually play the Salomon here, so I don't have to pay the 4 cost, and then bring this forward and swing with it this way, because you still get the baby's effect to draw a card, and the Salomon will trigger, and it means you don't have to pay the 4 then. So it's really useful. We also run 2 copies of Lambramon. What this is 3 cost, 0, 1k, so it doesn't seem too impressive at the moment, but it's inherited effect, so when someone digivolves it gains this effect. When an opponent's Digimon is dropped to 0 DP, which deletes them, you draw a card. And it's just a nice little draw engine. So the reason Blue Omnimon was so present last format was the draw power was insane. It just added to the consistency. So what we're trying to do here is replicate some of that draw power with an even bigger boss monster, because the Omnimon's obviously Omnimon, but other than Omnimon, they have to rely on Metal Greymon, whereas we get to rely on Shine, and Shine is absolutely insane and can actually take on Omnimon, so this is really good for your draw power. Now, as I said, some people may try and starve you a 5 or 3. 5 is fine because it triggers the baby. 3 is fine because it triggers Kari, triggers the baby, triggers a lot of things. Some people are smart and they try and starve you a 4, which is why we run 2 Lopamon. So what this says is, you can look at your security stack, add it to your hand, and if you add it to your hand, you also draw a card. So it just draws you 2 cards basically, which is really nice because it then knocks you down to the 3, which triggers everything else. Next, the final baby, as a little tech card I'm running, is 1 Promo Patamon. What this card is on play if you have 1 or fewer security, so this is very late game, or could be early game if you've been really rushed. It recovers 1. Now, how I tend to play this is, you have a lot of cards in deck we'll get into later on. Well, not a lot, but some of the cards in deck which actually recover from the drop. So what I tend to do is just use this quite sparingly at the start, so I might evolve into it and then evolve something on top and not really care about this. Start swinging freely with that Digimon, because when this dies and then this is going to the drop, I know that that's in there for later on. So when I play like the Mastermon, it can just bring this straight back out and recover 1, and that's really nice to go with. Right, so that is all the level 3s that we run. Now moving on to the level 4s, we run 4 Unimon, the yellow blocker. Quite simple, we run this because it's a blocker. You need blockers because otherwise Rookie Rush will just run all over you. Imperial Ultramon will just run all over you. These are necessary. That's all I'm going to say on that. Then I run 3 copies of Repamon. Run this because it's a 2-cost evolution, which isn't great for level 4 because you can go 1-cost evolutions now. But the reason we run this is it's a free to play. So you literally just pay 3 memory. I mean, it's the same as playing the babies. Half the babies in this deck are bigger than it. So you just play this, you skip the 3, you just go straight to 4. And as I say, we tend to use this stack here for the Salomons and stuff like that. So being able to just play a Rapamon for the same card and then just evolving it is really nice. And then we just play 3 Junimon. This is literally because it's a level 4 1-cost evolution, because sometimes, as I said, if you've got like the Patamons all you've got, you do want to play it and you do want to evolve it. The 1-drop is quite nice to pass 1 over for turn for first turn and stuff like that. Just let you extend a bit more with whatever memory the opponent's given you. So that's all the level 4s. Moving on to the level 5s, we run 4 copies of the best level 5 in the deck, ShineGreymon. This card is absolutely insane and I'm so glad they made it. On Digivolution, play a Tamer. I'm so glad that's not on play because it's an 8-cost. On Digivolve, play a Tamer from your hand while paying its cost, but it's on play when trigger, so we can quite happily play all 3 of these. But the only issue that we currently have is if we play one of these two, it's literally just free advantage. If we played a TK, we don't get to look. So I tend to keep the TK in hand just because this is then a second hand for you to use. So I tend to use it with these. But it's absolutely insane. And it's also got an inherited skill that if you have 3 tamers up, then the Digimon on top of it, when it swings, will actually have security attack +1. And that's absolutely insane for just rushing games out that you need. Then we also run 2 Angie Woman. Angie Woman is not as good as the other Angie Woman next set, but the other Angie Woman this set is very underwhelming because it doesn't have a lot of good targets. That is why I'm running this. This is literally, when you Digivolve into it, if your security stack is 3 or less, gain health. Now you might say, why do we do that when you've said 3 is the golden number? It's really about judging your opponent's board. So obviously if we're on 2, this is great because it puts us back on 3 and we're still in the threshold. We can put ourselves to 4. If my opponent's board is a lot of aggressive, I have a Unicron out, I might just evolve another level 4 into this and say, right, now I know I can live this turn. So that's why we run this. It's actually really good right now, but next set I will be switching this out for the other one once we have like Lucamon and stuff to play around with. Then we run 2 Sirenmon and 1 Antlermon. These are both the 2-drop evolutions for yellow. The reason we're running 2 of this and 1 of this is because this is a 5-drop. So it means if you got those awkward hands of loads of 5s and a 6 and you want to play the 6, you can just play the 5-drop and you're not actually giving your opponent too much to work with. The reason we don't play 3 of these and no Antlermon is Antlermon is an 8k. So he can swing into stuff and over stuff and it is fine, whereas he's only 6, so he actually draws with a lot of level 4s. But that is all of the level 5s that we're currently running. Now moving on to the main part of the deck, the level 6s, we have the 4 copies of the main guy in the deck, ShineGreymon. This card is insane. I'm so glad this came out. I was very angry it didn't come out last set, even though he was on the box art, but hey. When this card digivolves, you can rest all of your tamers, then minus 4,000 from one of your opponent's Digimon for each tamer. Now these can be separated, so say if my opponent had 2 Digimon out like this, I could minus the 8k and then 4k from here, or another 8k from here. It doesn't have to just go in the 1 Digimon, and that's why this card is absolutely insane. Also, just as if that wasn't enough, when he swings for every tamer in play, he then gains 1,000. So a lot of the issues with decks that rely on a boss monster that's 11,000 is when it swings at security, there's a good chance it's not going to live. Like if it hits any of the 6, there's a good chance it won't live. Whereas this guy is saying, if I swing and you've got 3 or 4, if you've got 4 out, he's an Omnimon swinging. And whenever you used to swing Omnimon, you didn't really care because it's very rare that that dies. So this guy is absolutely insane. We'll just push them up there. Then it comes into a bit more of the toolbox of the deck. So some people here will go the /Angie route. Perfectly fine. Perfectly good card. It's more of the minus DP build. I like it because it works well with the Shine if you've got enough memory. Then some people will go more of like they'll run multiple copies of Mastermon, or they might run multiple copies of Kentorusmon. Some people have actually dropped this number to run more Kentorusmon. I like this deck being a toolbox. So we have the main force of the deck, and then we have a lot of one-offs to back it up for different situations. So those one-offs are a Kentorusmon from last set. So it's 11,000, 3 costs to evolve. When it evolves, target up to 5 of your opponent's Digimon, minus 2 security from those Digimon until the end of your opponent's next turn. So say if they've got a big board out, they're threatening lethal, they've just spent all their hand pretty much doing it, and they're looking at you going, deal with it. You go, no, I'll just Kentorusmon it, I'll just kill you slowly. Your Digimon aren't providing anything for you now. It's very good. Also, on deletion, it minuses 11k from one of your opponent's Digimon, so that does actually work, because if you do Kentorusmon first, then let's say next turn you go into the Shine minuses 12k off one, and then can only manage to do 4 off the other. Then you just swing with this, and if it dies, then it minuses the 11 from the one that minus the 4, and should kill it. So it's really good. Then we run 1 Seraphmon from last set. This is 10k free cost. On Digivolve, recover 1. Even if you're 5, recover 1, so you go to 6. Then when he swings, if you have 3 or more security, he actually gains a security +1, which works with the Rise because the Rise will give it another one. So it's just a really solid card, helps you out in situations. And if you don't have this and your opponent doesn't have a board yet, you kind of sit there sometimes and you're like, I don't really know what to do. This just gives you an option as your first evolution to go Seraphimon. Because unfortunately, the way the game's sitting with green and Seraphimon, you can't afford to sit there with a 5 on board. Because if you just sit there with a 5 saying, I'll wait, then what Seraphimon will do is it'll go, I'll rest it and swing into it then. And then you've just lost so much advantage that you're going to struggle to get back into the game. Then I run at 1 Magnadramon. This is for worst case scenarios, because obviously to play it and get its effect, you have to give your opponent 11. But when it's played, it does recover 2. This is pretty much there for Rookie Rush or Imperial Dramon if they open like the God Hand, just to give you a bit more breathing space, a bit more time. Also, when it attacks, it plays a level 3 from your hand for free. Which, you know, now we've got like Patamon and all that, it's pretty good. And then the final one to round it off is the Mastermon. This card is very good. I think this card gets better in the Nexa, personally, but I still think this card's very good. So what it does is, on Digivolve, so 4, onto a purple or a yellow, which is why we run there, trash the top card of both your securities. Very good then for when you're able to push lethal with the Rise and stuff. Then, once you've both trashed one, you can then pull a purple or a yellow level 4 or less Digimon from your trash and play it. This is what I was on about. This is how you get the Patamons back out. This is how you get your blocker back out. This is just a really solid card and just lets you manage your opponent advantage while gaining so much advantage yourself, especially because you could minus 1 off your security stack, drop yourself to 3, and then pull out a blocker, and your opponent's been dropped by 1 as well, and you've just gained so much from that turn. So yeah, so that's the deck profile. That's what I think is the way I'm going to be playing Shine for the moment. It might change in the future. If it does, I might do an update. Let me know if you'd want to see that. But yeah, this is how I'm going to be playing Shine for the moment. We're going to have other colours coming on into the channel. I'm going to try and do one daily for the start, and then obviously it's quite hard to get all the cards to keep doing one daily, or there's not enough cards to keep doing one daily. So then we're going to look at other content we can possibly do in the future. Become a lot easier once all this COVID stuff stopped, but at the moment this is just what we're going to do. So if you like this, then please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, let us know what you think. We're on Facebook as well. I'll leave a link somewhere down here on the playmat, so just click that. This has been great. This is Team Crit. Thanks for watching.